Next up, we go into the Investchem Formula 1600s. The Formula Ford Kents will be joining the Formula 1600s this weekend. Great to see a nice field of them. Jagger Robertson will look to try and do what he did in Cape Town and get pole position and hopefully turn it into 2 wins as opposed to the battle he had down in the Mother City. The battle he had at the front end was a big one, and a couple of guys came to the front for the fight. Casey Ensel-Smith was one of them, and so was Jason Coetzee taking his victory at his home circuit. Can he do the same here at Kyalami? It's Robertson from Ensel-Smith on the front row, Karabo Malamela alongside Jason Coetzee, Monkonkwana and Foss, and then Van Wheelie, Naidu, and at the back, Ribeiro and Holtzhausen. Fantastic effort from Storm Lanphier, just ahead of Mikel Besaidenote, and it's Andrew Horndog who takes the lead in the Kent category. We roll out here with Karabo Malamela out of the top pits. They're going to go all the way around to their form-up. It's a bumper weekend. Remember, it's regionals and nationals combined here at Kyalami, and the big crowd are about to be entertained by the single-seaters. Karabo Malamela had a phenomenal effort in Cape Town. Can he do the same thing here at Kyalami? He'll be looking forward to a big battle. Let's see whether or not Jagger Robertson's been able to sort his starts out. It was his biggest bugbear in the Mother City. Right on his tail is Malamela. He'll be looking to go with him as we go on board here with Karabo. And looking across at Casey Ensel-Smith. He'll be looking to try and get that inside line and use it to his advantage and bring Jason Coetzee along for the ride. Lights are on. When they go out, we go racing. Malamela off the line, but Jagger Robertson has dialed in that start and hits the front and looks like he's going to come across over Casey Ensel-Smith. Malamela's going to come along with him. They head down into turn 1 for the first time. Crowthorne, low sun for the early morning, but Karabo Malamela is looking for a low position to get up the inside. He gets up in second place. Ensel-Smith down to third. It's Monkonkwana up to fourth. Coetzee getting an absolutely horrible start as he comes through there. He's just ahead of Foss. Foss with a good start there. He brings in the rest of the field. Malamela side by side. Little touch. Ooh, you don't want any touching single-seater wheels through that corner. That can end up in tears big time. Fortunately, they all stay on the track. This is Van Wheelie's point of view from the magnificent paint and hardware store machine. A bit further back there, trying to find a way through there on Naidu. Not quite the start that Van Wheelie wanted, but he's got to try and find a way through if he can. Not going to be an easy way to get through there, that is for sure. How's that? Side by side as they go. Oh, out of clubhouse. And running wide onto the rumble strips was Jason Coetzee. Fortunately, just enough room for him to play there. Alex Foss just had to back out slightly. Jagger Robertson getting the job done at the front end. The Liqui Moly car leading this pack and getting away from Malamela. Malamela also pulling slightly away there from Ensel-Smith. So kind of equidistant between the first 3. Then it's 4, 5, and a little gap to 6, 7, and 8. And that 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10th place battle starting to rage. Van Wheelie under big pressure there. Srin Naidu trying to find a way past. We're back on board with Nick as they head down the hill. Let's have a look at this. It's literally everything she's got. There was no lift there at all, and the revs were right up there. There's lift now, and there's lots of braking and a little bit hot into Crocodiles from Van Wheelie. Just caught out there with a couple of cars on his inside, and maybe just with a couple of cold tyres. And not quite up to race temperature just yet, but needless to say, he's not going to give up. He's lost a bit of ground, but some work to do now for the man in that magnificent paint and hardware store. It has promoted up the 27 car, so a little bit of manoeuvring there from Storm Lanphier's point of view. Or in the Kent category, there's lots of manoeuvring. Hepburn coming from the back of the pack, side by side now with Rick Morris in the Investchem car. So Graham Hepburn certainly looking for a way to get up to second place. He can see his good mate Andrew Horn getting away at the front end in Schofield's car. Jagger Robertson is doing it perfectly at this stage. He's got a big margin over Malamela, and Malamela fighting hard with Casey Ensel-Smith. Big fight here as well, side by side as they come into Clubhouse Corner. And Srin Naidu trying to find a way through. Can he? Yes, he can. As Foss runs slightly wide, Srin Naidu dives up the inside and makes it stick into the S's. So Naidu up one position, possibly up into that top 6th or 7th place at this stage, looking to try and bridge that gap to Monkonkwana just up the road. A little fight there between him and Foss has slowed them both down slightly, and they've lost the gap there to the back end of this fight, Monkonkwana versus Coetzee. So Coetzee and Monkonkwana fighting for top 5 honours as they head down the hill. Jagger Robertson leads out, there you can see, ahead of Malamela, Casey Ensel-Smith, Monkonkwana, Jason Coetzee. And it's a big margin now for Jagger. Jagger has climbed into this car, made it look like he's never ever been anywhere else other than a single-seater. Remember, he comes from a background of saloon car racing and NX Legends. This is the first season we've seen him in a single-seater, and he really has made the switch look pretty easy. Battled a bit in Cape Town, as I said, but it was mainly just his starts that he couldn't get right. That he's certainly dialed in at the moment, and the Liqui Moly man leads this pack. Further back, the family are not having it quite their own way there. The metal used spares car, Renzo Ribeiro, is still getting to grips with this car. He's going to try and make up a bit of ground there to catch the back end of the Investchem Formula 1600s. Maybe not quite getting to grips with Kyalami. It's not an easy circuit to learn, particularly when you've only had about 40 minutes practice over the entire weekend because of the bumper nature of the weekend, combining both regional and national championship categories all in one. Katsia through on Monkonkwana. So he makes that one stick. Can Sia come back at him somewhere here? We're on board with Sia as they head up. Out of barbecue. Yuxke is looking for a chance. Look at that. Oh, there's lots of understeer on that car. Running completely wide off the track. Lack of traction there completely. You could see the front wheels turned in and was just going straight. Not able to turn that car at all. Monkonkwana with some problems. Malamela's got his own problems. It's in the form of Casey Enso-Smith. But Jason could see if he was watching the rearview mirrors and he could see that issue on the car, he'll certainly try and capitalize on it and get away from Sia. Back to the Kent class. Hepburn has closed the gap down on Rick Morris, but hasn't found a way through just yet. Morris keeps him out for now. Graham Hepburn looking for a chance to maybe get ahead of that Investchem car. Here's the possibility. He's got the slipstream. As they head down towards Crowthorne, there's a lot of room to play here, particularly in a little Kent category car. And I think he's just squeezed up to second place. And he'll now be looking to try and close that gap that Andrew Horn has opened up in the Kent class. Renzo has closed slightly on Storm Lanphier. And you can see the two of them and Mikael Besaidenote involved in that mix as well. So the rookies of the class all having some fun at the back end of the Investchem Formula 1600 field, just outside of that top 10. They're fighting for 11th, 12th and 13th place as they come up onto the top of the hill at Leeuwkop. The Saffair car trying to close down there, and Mikael Besaidenote and Renzo Ribeiro in that Metal U Spares machine just behind that. As they go flying down the mine shaft, they might lift off slightly. They might not go through their flat, but if they've got the ability, it's certainly something they need to learn as quickly as possible. We saw it from Jagger Robertson. He's come from the front of the field this time and he's capitalized on that pole position, sorted the starts out and taken the victory. Malamela for second, Enso-Smith for third, Kutsia and Monkonkwana making up the top 5. Long way back there for Srinadu. Remember, he's a man who took a victory in Cape Town. What's he going to do now in race number 2? He beats out Van Wheelie, Voss, and across the line, Storm Lanphier making up that top 9. Single digits there, all the way down to Lanphier. It was Mikael Besaidenote eventually in 10th place, but Robertson, Malamela and Casey Enso-Smith, your top 3 in the F1600s. Further back, Holtzhausen beat out Renzo Ribeiro. It's Andrew Horn who took the category in the Kent class and won out over Hepburn and Morris.
Race went very good. We put it on pole yesterday by 0.6 of a second, so we had high hopes for this morning. Got a brilliant start, better than my Cape Town starts, and from there kept my head down, led the pack and led from flag to flag.
Certainly one of the best finishes for Karabo Malamela as well.
It went so well. I got a good start and was able to get myself up into second. Unfortunately, first place ran away from me, and we finished second for the race. Happy result for that. The first podium, so I'm very proud of what I done today.
Third place for Casey Enso-Smith.
It went well. I got a decent start. Karabo did drive around on the inside of me, so I did lose that, and I got third. And then there was just a hunt to try and catch him. And on the last lap, I managed to catch him, but I just didn't manage to get past him. So we ended up with third.
We're looking forward to seeing if we see a clean sweep from Jagger Robertson. Join us after the break to see if that happens. Welcome back to action from Kyle Army and the Investchem Formula 1600s and Formula Ford Kents. Duncan Fast scratching his head there slightly. Maybe not quite at the pace for that Formula Ford Kent category this weekend, but he'll certainly turn his luck around if he can. And I'm sure they'll be working hard to get his car onto the pace that Andrew Horn, Graham Hepburn and Rick Morris had in race 1. At the front end, I'm sure Nicholas Van Wheelie has definitely done some tweaking to his car to give it a little bit more pace to run with those first 5 cars. He wasn't quite there, had a small incident, running wide into Crocodiles, and let's see if he can keep it all together this time and maybe run with those top 5. Jagger Robertson has been the man to beat all weekend long so far. Looking for the clean sweep. Can he do it here in race 2? Casey Enso-Smith will definitely want to keep him honest, maybe get a slightly better start. You heard from him in his interview, didn't quite go according to plan, and he lost out to Karabo. Karabo Malamela is a bit further back, so let's see what happens now. Van Wheelie certainly wants to turn his luck around. He's got Voss just ahead of him. He's looking in the rearview mirrors as he comes across to take up his good position. There's the man on pole and the car to beat in the Investchem Formula 1600s. Jagger Robertson for Lekwi Mali. We are ready to go. Siabongo Monkonkwana will be waiting for those lights to go out. They do. Monkonkwana has a good start. Malamela has one too. So does Jason Kutsia. It looks like Jason Kutsia might have had a slightly better start as they go down towards Crowthorne for the first time. We're on board yet again with our cameraman, Nicholas Van Wheelie, and he's tucked in, looking for an opportunity. If Jason Garcia goes inside, will he go with him? Backs out slightly. You can see there's lots of chaos. That's why he backed out. You can see in the rearview mirrors there was chaos coming from behind, and little bit of cars coming left, right, and center. Looks like Storm Lanfear might have been one of them. Shrunadu certainly was. And there was some big issues there for a couple of cars heading to Crowthorne for the very first time. In the Kent category, has Hepburn hit the front? Yes, he has. Hepburn has outgunned Andrew Horn towards turn number 1, and he's got ahead. So Hepburn leads in the Kent category. We're on board with Alex Voss. The Kirizu car having a fantastic run as they head towards Clubhouse Corner. He's up into 4th place, just in there and tucked in behind Jason Garcia. Munkankwana's behind him. It's Robinson who stayed out of trouble, Casey Ensel Smith out of trouble, and Shrun Naidu getting out of the car. That's the end of the race there for Naidu after that incident in turn 1. Let's have a look at it from on board once again. You can see the 37 car trying to squeeze through there from a long way back. And did it work out for him? No, unfortunately it didn't. Nicholas Van Wheelie stayed out of trouble. But, Malamela, that was some late braking coming from him. He tried to avoid some wings being flicked at him from the car up the front end. And Shrun Naidu eventually parking in on the sideline. So Naidu not able to get restarted. Malamela drops right to the back. He's got a massive mountain to climb. In fact, you could just see Graham Hepburn going through on him there. So he's going to have to come through some of the Kent category cars as well. At the front end, it's Robinson from Casey Ensel Smith. Equidistant apart, but a big margin down to 3rd, which is currently held by Jason Garcia. Garcia's got big problems of his own, though. Munkankwana and Voss. And Voss just ahead of Munkankwana at this stage. Looking in the rearview mirrors, they'll be looking further back there to try and pick up on Malamela, but it's not Malamela who's behind them. It's actually Ewan Holzhausen, and looks like possibilities of Mikkel Besaidnout with a fantastic start as well. Running wide and into a slightly late apex here. This could potentially help Sierra. Can he get it all together? Yes, he's got a good drive there. Now can he make it stick up into turn 14? Through here, there's not an opportunity to overtake, but it's here that they set themselves up for, heading to the final corner here at Ingwe. Munkankwana is literally got that nose piece right up the gearbox, trying to find a way through on Alex Voss. First 5 cars across the line. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are 5 cars fighting for the second half of that top 10. And although they split here, 2 cars and then 3, watch that backpack. It's starting to get real in between those 5 cars. Kutsia hangs on and just squeezes through. So he just managed to keep Alex Voss out. You can see the stricken car on the right-hand side. There'll be yellow flags there. This is probably why a couple of them backed out of that overtaking maneuver they were attempting, because they would have had to warn the guys. Oh, there's a touch! That's huge! Voss and Munkankwana coming together. It's literally almost formation flying from the 2 of them. They both get going again. Fortunately kept the clutches in there and did not stall the cars, but they've dropped back behind that second pack of cars. So this is a big change up there with Voss and Munkankwana dropping by the wayside. It's opened up an opportunity of note here for Mikkel Besaidnout and Karabo Malamela. Ewan Holzhausen in there as well. Those are not the usual contenders in a top 5 battle, but they're there now. So let's see what they can do. Malamela has some serious, Mikkel Besaidnout I should say, has some serious pressure being applied onto the back end from Nicholas Van Wheelie. This is a multiple champion in single-seaters with a rookie side by side into Leerkop. Clips the curb slightly. Does he run Mikkel Besaidnout slightly wide? I think he may have. Yes, he's got through. So he's just been able to squeeze Besaidnout out as they go through Leerkop and down through the left-handers. Into the right-handers at Crocodile. There's pressure from Casey Ensel Smith. He's a lot closer than what he was in race number 1. But Jagger opens up that little margins. They come out of Crocodiles with a slightly different line coming out of Casey. It just compromised his drive slightly coming out of Crocodiles there. So that's something he'll have to work on. Kutsia all on his own in 3rd. He doesn't have to worry about anybody right now. I don't think he's going to be able to bridge the gap, but he's certainly not going to be caught by those cars behind. Lieutenant Colonel Alan Mayer in a fight of his own there with Ron Van Wheelie. This is fantastic. That's for 4 and 5 in the Kent category class. Those 2 are arch rivals that have been at each other's throats for years. Great to have them back at each other's throats again. Voss fighting with Morris just ahead of them. So it's literally a 2x2 here in the Kent category class. You've got Horn versus Hepburn at the front. Then you're going to see Voss versus Morris and Van Wheelie versus Mayer. That's the kind of action we like to see. Let's have a look at this one more time. It is, I said, his nose piece was right up the gearbox. It was way too high up the gearbox, unfortunately, and it clipped the back end of the car. Munkankwana spins out, Voss spins out, catches it just before it slams the wall, climbs on the loud pedal. Look at the dust being kicked up on that inside wall. This is on board here from Sia's point of view as he goes 360 degrees and watches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars go past and then just climbs back on it. Massive recovery here as well coming from this man. Brilliant bit of driving. Oh, that is fantastic, Alex Voss. Brilliant stuff there, bud. Well held and well caught. Back into the mix. Speaking of the mix at the front end of the Kent class starting to heat up here. Andrew Horn is on Hepburn's tail, but Hepburn's got a smoking gun. There's a small issue there, I think, on Hepburn's car. Will that be a big effect at the end of this race? Can he keep it all together and maybe take the victory? Sometimes with that kind of smoke coming out of the car, it can be terminal. And I think that's why Andrew Horn is maybe just backing out slightly, waiting for something to go wrong there. Hepburn will certainly not give up. He will keep pushing until that car breaks or until the flag comes out. That's what Graham Hepburn does when it comes into a race car. He does not give up whatsoever. Back to the front end of the field. An amazing drive there from the Huawei car. Mikel Besaidnout is in a position that he's not usually in. It's just fantastic to see. He loses out slightly. Malamela moving out as well to Van Wheelie as they come through the left-handers. We're on board with Karabo. And he just wasn't able to get through there on that magnificent painted hardware car of Van Wheelie. Van Wheelie is having a fantastic second race here. Much better effort here from Nick this time out. But he's got big pressure from Karabo, who's already been on the podium and looking to maybe get back up there if he can. Fortunately, he's got to get through in two cars. One is Van Wheelie, then he's still got to try and catch and pass Jason Kutsia up the road. That early mistake down in turn one cost him dearly, dropping to the back of the pack. But he's made his way through here pretty rapidly, and this is certainly a man to watch out for in this championship. We mentioned Jagger Robertson. We've got to take Jason Kutsia into account. Trinidad, who's also taken a victory so far. We've got 3 different victors at 3 rounds of the championship so far. And it looks like Karabo Malamela could slowly but surely be making his way up into that top 5. Top 2, no worries, no changes at all. Liqui Moly versus Casey Ensel-Smith. And Ensel-Smith at this point in time doesn't have an answer. The checkered flag is on standby, and Jagger Robertson is going to take the absolute perfect weekend at Kyalami. He was fastest in every session. He put the fastest lap in, and he's taken 2 victories from the 2 pole positions that he secured for this category. What a way to come to Kyalami. Only a couple of Ks away from his hometown of Alberton. Brilliant effort there from him, and the win once again to Jagger Robertson, beating Casey Ensel-Smith to the line. Jason Kutsia will come through for 3rd place. He beats out Van Wheelie, but Mikel Besaidnout, what a fantastic effort from that young man. Top 5 finish in only his 3rd race in the Formula 1600s. Watch out for that name in the future. Robertson from Ensel-Smith, Kutsia, Van Wheelie and Besaidnout. They beat out Voss, Malamela, Holtzhausen, Monkonkwana and Storm Lanfear for the top 10. In the Investchem Kent category, in 11th place was Hepburn taking the victory ahead of Andrew Horn and Duncan Voss, 13th and 14th overall. With a double victory on the day, Jagger Robertson becomes a serious contender.
We came here, expecting to be faster than we were. From P1, we were already in the first and qualified on pole for both race 1 and 2 and converted them to both races. Second race was a lot tougher than the first. Casey kept me honest the whole race, but in the end we got the W, so that's what matters.
And that brings the championship right into Jagger Robertson's clutches, ahead of Casey Ensel-Smith and Jason Kutsia. Shunaidu's DNF drops him from the front end down to 4th. Wonder what's going to happen at the next round at Swartkops. And after the break, we'll see who will be crowned king at Kyalami in the South African Touring Cars and Super Cup.